righty. We are here. Merry Christmas, everybody. Well, it's coming up soon. Get ready for it. Live from Railroad City, Crossroads of America, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Charleston, South Carolina, which I would say is the best Carolina, I would say. It is your host and founder of this wild ride, the American Rail Club, Demetrius Villa, and joining in is David Mitchell,
the co-host.
Oh yeah, here we go. I hope you all can hear me. I hope you're all doing well. Wow, we're really wow, this is pretty cool. I put in for the chat here for the super chats. Wow, we're doing really good. Thank you guys. Okay, Shock 2957. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas indeed. It's going to be a wonderful stream. It's going to be a wonderful one, folks. Here we go. R2A2R Gaming. Join Discord for more good discussions. Yes, the Discord link should be in the link below, or the description below. But anyway, guys, I hope you all are having a wonderful week, and we're gonna have some really good stuff to talk about today, and we'll be talking also next week. We go to Miami. We'll be doing a couple of live streams there too. So Merry Christmas, everybody. There's your early Christmas gift. So get ready for that. Alrighty. So let's start this off here, David. Rush hour was delayed here for New Yorkers on the MTA on the subway. They were stuck for hours. 3,500 people, which that's the thing. It's mass transit. Imagine trying to get driverless cars to move 3,500 people at a time. I mean, give me a break.
That would be a catastrophe. That would be
man.
Very...
But yeah, let's go ahead. And, let's look at the video over here. Let me put this on. Oh man. But hey, let's be glad over here. At least it was calm. There wasn't. I think after a certain incident on the subway, I think people are acting a little bit more civil now. There we go. So, if you guys didn't see on the weekend during the Army-Navy game, Daniel Penny was there. He did the right thing. So justice was served, and he was able to get a. If you don't agree, wait a second. Here we go. There we go. That's it. There we go. We're gonna get that. That's gonna become a normal thing now on the club. So yeah, it's the door. Oh man, Tomo-kun 1776. Here you are. Osman Hussein. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you for being here, and everybody in the audience as well on Discord. We have Minor Tree Dump Trucker, Star Force 97, and ACB. Lex Burren. Hello. Yes, we're gonna talk about trains again. We are talking about trains. Let's talk about trains. Anyway, 2 F trains were between stations and couldn't move without the power, leaving commuters stuck without AC in the tunnel. Oh man! Hey, at least it was during the winter, because it's still hot down there even during the winter. You're still sweating. I don't know if anybody who's ever been on the subway plenty of times, but yeah, it's kind of hot and muggy down there. But oh man, at least it was during the winter. Imagine during the summer, there'll be people dying of heat stroke.
That would have been heat stroke central right there.
Oh man, yeah. But let me see. It was stuck at the J Street Metro Tech station in Brooklyn, where many trains were stopped because of a power outage. So yeah, it's here people want us to get us onto electric cars. We can't even figure out the power with what we have right now. So imagine that. Trapped in an unpowered rush hour F train with no AC for the last 70 minutes till FDNY got us out through a damn maintenance tunnel at Smith and Atlantic. One of the evacuated riders tweeted alongside a photo of people walking up a steep graffiti-covered stairway. Let's go ahead and see that tweet just to, because now we're on X. We have X, guys. We're here. We got it. So should be working. There we go. Look at that. Hey. There could be worse things. At least everybody was civil. Everybody got out. Most of everybody was safe. So that's good. That's very good to hear that, it could have been a heck of a lot worse, guys. Heck of a lot worse. But, hey, I mean, look, it's part of the clause over here. That's what's going on across the United States. Our infrastructure is crumbling. A strap hanger complained that the whole experience was a, quote, a crap show. I would say the whole thing, but YouTube being YouTube, heck with it. Why not? It's Christmas. We got super chats over here. It's a shit show. That's our infrastructure right now. Why not? Okay, here we go. Absolutely brutal commute. Okay, complete shit show, but gotta credit the FDNY and the MTA staff on our train for getting us through. Okay, so everybody, let's take a round of applause for the FDNY. Those are the good guys there, and the MTA for getting everybody out, keeping everybody safe. I mean, yeah, this could have been a heck of a lot worse. I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad, but I mean, look, there could have been, oh man, a heck of a lot worse because I mean, imagine where is that tweet that I had here? Where is it? I had it here somewhere.
Imagine if it was autonomous cars. Ooh, that would be bad.
Okay, yeah, imagine. Here's the thing. Imagine being stuck on the subway with this here we are, this pow, pow.
Yeah, did craziness.
Pow! Pow! Imagine being stuck with that guy on the subway. Oh man!
Yeah,
And
that would be bad. That would be bad.
This is the problem. Is that the thing is that people have complained a long time about the safety, not just in the New York City subway, but across the United States. And it's very much, I wouldn't say just an American problem. It's very much an American problem, but we're seeing this across the Anglosphere and across the Western world, mainly within the United States and Europe. I mean, we're seeing, particularly, yes, in the United States, we have a lot more of that, but this is the thing. People do not feel safe most of the time on that, and luckily, and whatever blessings that came to happen, this did not happen when people were stuck. Because I mean, imagine. Okay, well, there's we'll get to that later. Imagine being stuck in a damp, humid, hot tunnel with 3,000 other people. Okay, let's give it to New Yorkers, because New Yorkers do deserve some credit over here. They behaved very well and they got it through. Not that New Yorkers don't behave well at all. Honestly, I think New Yorkers are probably some of the nicest people on there. This is coming. Then again, I'm coming from Miami, the rudest city in the United States. I was voted 3 times in a row the rudest city in the United States, and every time I've gone to New York, I'm like, well, people are super nice here, and they look at me like I'm weird. It's like it's true though. I mean, there's a difference between being rude and being high-strung. New Yorkers are high-strung.
Dimitri, I gotta tell you this, is that some of the rudest people are from Florida. I have seen some people, and they're from my home city. We got some rude people here, and some nice people. Charlton is a mixed bag. In my home city, it's a mixed bag. We got people who are nice and people who are rude. It depends on what area of Charleston you're in. But I have seen some nice people from our city and some rude people, but I have seen some super rude people from Florida.
Yeah, and it's very sad for the state of Florida. Most of those people aren't even born and raised in Florida, which is bad because it makes the whole rest of the state bad. And look, my mom was born in Miami in the 50s. Okay, not to make her look old or anything like that, but when Miami was still considered the South. Okay, it's much different time. You can go in and out of people's houses. Doors were unlocked. People were super nice to each other. It was a nice time to be in South Florida. Okay, and things have changed, of course. It's just the way it is, whether we like it or not. But it's just the reality. We just wish people can be nicer. Okay, it's just something in general. But anyway, moving on. We know what's going on in New Jersey. I think Trump tweeted this out with Chris Christie ordering a whole bunch of Uber Eats from drones and hacking out. I gotta say, the AI has gotten pretty funny.
Yeah, people are going crazy over the drones thing. Heck, we had a couple of drone sightings earlier tonight here in Charleston, so it's spreading.
Yeah, I mean this is nuts. I was talking with Darius last night about it as well. I mean, it's definitely, I would say I'm on the side that it's definitely our own government that's doing it and screwing around with us, because we're the only one that has that sort of technology. The other being our greatest ally, having access to uh, being able to launch drones out of submarines from 30 miles, 20 nautical miles out of sea, and have them loitering there and shoot them out and go around. But I mean, this is kind of nuts. But if anybody in New Jersey has some drones to spare, the MTA is actually they put out, and I talked about this a little bit last time, they put out a request for drones for bus tracking for the MTA. So that's pretty funny. I don't think that's what they're there for, but yeah, it's it's a lot of weird stuff. I don't think it's definitely not aliens, okay? Because why would an alien species who has access to faster than light travel want to go to New Jersey? Okay, and I'm talking about, look, half my family lives in Jersey. Okay, please, I get it, but come on, you want you're gonna come, thousands and thousands of light years away to visit New Jersey? I mean, do you like The Sopranos that much? Really? Come on. But yeah. All right. Let's get into some of the main topic for this. And David, you're gonna like this one. GM has shut down their Robotaxi. The money pit is gone. Cruise is no longer around. So that is it for Cruise. You there, man?
Like, it's time for this, Like,
Go ahead.
let me be honest. GM had it coming to them, for all the years that they screwed around with this country,
Oh yeah, and definitely I'll show a little bit of that. In fact, I mean, this is not a new idea of having autonomous vehicles running throughout the street and all that sort of stuff. This has been a thing that GM has been planning for almost close to 100 years at this rate. Back to Futurama, well, 90 years. Okay, let's be fair. 90 years with Futurama, having basically self-driving cars on these super highways and plowing down all of the United States from sea to shining sea in a glorious ocean of asphalt for their own profit. So yeah, it's one blow to them because nobody really wants self-driving cars. There's something called the train. We've had that for years, but this is something that's
Dimitri, fun fact. The British had autonomous trains since 1920.
Oh yeah.
Underground. They had an autonomous mail train underground all the way up from the early 1900s, from the 1920 all the way up until 2003.
Yeah, this is not at all new technology. I mean, you see these if you've been either to California and Los Angeles or San Francisco or Austin, Texas, you're gonna see these little Waymos driving around, and they've already had so many issues. The taxi guys love to speaking of baseball bats here. The taxi guys love having these things meeting baseball bats. I mean, it's kind of funny, or the Uber drivers or the taxi unions. But again, this is not a new thing that they've been trying to do. This has been something that's been in the works for decades. So this is a video that I took over at the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles. This is a 1956 Motorama Firebird autopilot concept. There you go. Look at that. They've been trying to do this for decades. Okay, look at it. Well, back then, instead of having AI, you have some guy in a central location operator going ahead and saying synchronize your speed and direction. There you go. Look at that. Where discount Walt Disney is driving the or letting the vehicle drive itself. So this is not new with Tesla or anything else, but I mean it's interesting.
We're only reinventing the wheel. It's kind of funny,
Yeah, and that's the thing. You see these commercials with the cruise activated vehicle, and these cars that GM, well, they're not even cars anymore because they still sell the Malibu, I think, and the Corvette for sure. But I mean, they don't really have many cars anymore. They're all these terrible crossovers and overpriced SUVs now. I mean, who buys a Cadillac Lyric or the other Cadillac that's all electric? It looks terrible. But anyway,
that one guy got a small wiener. that's
Okay, you said it, David, not me. I was gonna go into another direction, but okay. That's David's feelings right there. But yeah, GM is still working towards autonomy. Still, they dropped in $10 billion, which, by the way, that $10 billion, GM still owes the American public and will never get that back. The $50 billion that was used to bail them out. Anybody remember that?
Mm.
15 years ago, when the first thing I did was bail out the automobile companies. Remember that? And $50 billion of American taxpayer money to go ahead and bail out a failing company that's destroyed a lot of American infrastructure. Despite, funny enough, I mean, what's funny is that GM used to make a lot of train engines and stuff like that. They went full evil mode and destroyed a lot of that because it was more profitable for them to go ahead and sell multiple vehicles and personal vehicles out rather than do what works. But hey, I guess you got to make money somehow, right? But they're still pushing this cruise thing. I mean, they dropped in $10 billion in it, so yeah. But the cruise employees are not having a good time because this just came out of nowhere for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now,
the news came.
Fun.
This is the worst thing you have to hear. The news came by Slack message. You just gotta love that if you hear on Slack, yeah, you're fired. You're laid off. You're fired. We no longer need you. Oh man. I mean, I kind of feel I feel bad for them, but I mean, this is again GM. What can we say?
Mm-hmm. Now, here a fun fact: when you were talking about the autonomous cars in San Francisco, there's another thing they like to do to mess around with the autonomous car. They like to put cones on top of their sensors.
Yes, I've seen that. So yeah, to David's point, you can disrupt because a lot of them have either LiDAR sensors or, well, Teslas are very far more into cameras, which it's a little bit easier to get, and I can understand why it's going to be a long-term better solution, particularly with imaging systems with AI and deep learning. That's really going to be a thing. But with LiDAR, it's kind of old technology and lasers, but you can basically stop an autonomous vehicle. And that's the funny thing. All these cruise systems or whatever, they're kind of using old tech because Teslas can basically run without having all these gizmos and sensors and all that sort of goofy stuff on top of this. I mean, look at how goofy this thing looks, this Waymo Jaguar. I mean, it looks flippin' goofy, but yeah, you put a traffic cone, just lay it up on top of here, and the thing is done. It just freezes. It's done. I mean, it's just silly.
And that's the thing. What people don't realize is that the autonomous cars, they're very vulnerable.
Yeah. And how silly it is. Talk about $100 billion worth of silliness that has been thrown in to driverless cars, and we really have gotten much of nowhere. Again, this article is back from 2022, but we really haven't done that much. So here we go. The first car woke Jennifer King at 2 a.m. with a loud, high-pitched hum. It sounded like a hovercraft. She said that wasn't the weird part. King lives on a dead-end street at the edge of Presidio, a 1,500-acre park in San Francisco, where through traffic isn't a thing. Outside, she saw a white Jaguar SUV backing out of her driveway. It had looked like giant fan with on its roof, a laser sensor, and bore the logo of Google's driverless car division, Waymo. These things are goofy, and they do all sorts of silly stuff. Or the one time they just started honking out of nowhere. That story was a real thing. But yeah, I mean, this is silly. Instead of investing $100 billion, could have built California. Then again, California high-speed rail. Their problem is not funding. Let's be quite honest about that. It's definitely not the funding.
It's corruption. It's corruption and all the red tape. Like what Elon Musk said. Even though we don't like the guy, we need to deregulate and stop making so much red tape for everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I don't like the guy. I find him. I'm more neutral on Elon Musk. There's some things that he does that are. Some things are humorous, some things are not, some things are just silly. I'll give the guy credit. He has a heck of a lot more cojones than most of the rich. Let's put it that way. He wants to do a heck of a lot more than just, oh, I made an app. I will give him that. He's actually built stuff. So I'll give credit where credit is due for him. Okay. But yes, there are some silly things that he's done.
A lot of the people who don't like him are little snowflakes.
I mean, and that's part of it. I mean, he likes to get this thing. He's, I would say, what's called a radical centrist, right? That's definitely been Elon Musk. He's the if anybody hasn't seen that meme, let me see if I can find that meme. But yeah, and speaking of this, I mean, Microsoft. Speaking of things that can't make anything anymore, they lost a whole lot of stake on this. $800 million. They lost on Cruise. I mean, what a losing bet they made on there. That's pretty. That sucks.
Big loss right there.
Yeah, too bad. They can kick rocks. I mean, how many times have they? Well, they bricked one of my laptops because they can't stop freaking updating things without anybody's consent. And then whatever updates they do, it just tends to break 5 things, maybe fix one, but most of it just sucks.
Heck, and worse yet, the best system that they have, Windows 10, they're getting rid of it, you know?
Man. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I would say I still think Windows XP was the best Windows. Okay, there was no need to go anywhere else from there, but, you know, I'm kind of showing my age. It's like Windows XP, yeah. It's, oh, man. Where's this darn
I guarantee you, Microsoft is not going to have a good time in the next 5 to 10 years. Because the way they're going, it's not going to be pretty at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's just... The thing is, I mean, what other options do you have? I mean, you're stuck with Apple if you have that, and Apple's just basically its own ecosystem. I mean, yeah, the computers are clean. They work most of the time, but...
they're super natural.
It's just finicky with any other program that works well, and by well, I mean relatively well on Microsoft. But yeah, okay, I can't find the meme, but heck with it. Let's just keep going. Alrighty.
I sent a article something crazy that happened in New York with another CEO, but not assassination.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say another one now, but anyway, okay, but. Speaking of, the problem when it comes to autonomous vehicles is that it's building upon a system that doesn't work. It's basically going ahead and applying a band-aid to a system that has far outgrown itself. You cannot increase capacity on roadways far more than they are right now because it's basically already to the max capacity. And again, there's a concept called induced demand. The more lanes you introduce into the system, the more people are going to say, hey, I'm going to drive that route. So if you have an interstate that has 3 lanes, you expand that into 6 lanes and into 9 lanes. Well, more people are going to start taking that interstate rather than whatever routes they would usually take back and forth to commute. And you're just increasing the amount of people that are going to be on there. And by the time you do that, there's not going to be any land left. It's going to look like this, which is funny enough at the Peterson Automotive Museum. This these paintings that they have here. And it's funny, they had this about this guy painted this accident. That's the thing. Unfortunately, with the automobile, fantastic invention. I love cars, but the problem is, can you really trust the average person that doesn't really have the spatial awareness to operate a 2-ton object at a rate of speed that exceeds their thinking? Let's be honest.
Nope.
Okay, and worst off is you're forcing people to use this when they don't want to. There's so many people who would rather not drive. They're just forced because, unfortunately, the cities that did have mass transportation, mass transit, or trains, mainly trains, because buses cannot perform the same. They cannot perform at the same rate of trains. Buses are needed. They're best as circulators. That's how they work. But they're not for connecting from city to city point all the time. But yeah, and look at this here. So this was a diorama that somebody created of a highway, and in the middle here, I got a better footage with the when I took video of it because I was going in and out with the focus, and this just took an out of focus picture. But over here is supposed to be a train station, going back and forth. You can kind of make out There's a train there. I know it's out of focus, but look at how much space you're taking away. So there's a train. Here you go. There's your route. Here's how many lanes of traffic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 12 lanes of traffic. All of that to take what? The same, well, actually less amount of people. Again, this is the thing why the train wins, because capacity. That's the thing. You cannot beat the train when it comes to capacity. That's why it's called mass transportation.
Mm-hmm. And you have people who don't like, who let her force people into cars. Like, I've been saying this for a long time, ever since I watched your video back in 2017, is that people think cars are free. Sad reality is they are really not. What they cause it to be is to shackle to death.
Yeah.
And let me just say this. When you destroy walkability, transit, accessibility, and build roads, parking lots, and everything for a car, but not for people, and force them to buy cars, that's not freedom. That's tyranny.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
here.
Yeah. It's giving people a choice. It's giving people a choice. All right. What's going on in the chat over here? Because I hear a lot of people are going in the chat. I even got F's in the chat, boys. What's going on? The drones are sniffing out nukes, I heard. Let's see. Automated metros, indeed. Speaking of drones, what about the eVTOL quad shifters like the Jetsons? FF. What's going on? What are all the Fs for? What's dead? Is the Okay, no, the stream's going. The stream's still going. Let's see.
Yep, here comes P89, the Palmetto.
Okay.
Hey,
Guys, what are the F's in the oh, GM's pet project. Okay, yeah, no, not F. S to spit. S to spit. No F. No F's for Futurama. No, it's only S in here. Okay? We're not paying respects to this this silliness, okay? This is this is here we go. I'm gonna be the tyrant right now. S to spit on Cruise. It's done. Patooey, done. Gone. There we go. Anyway. Oh man.
Say we already had our second train pass by in the last 28 minutes since we started the live stream.
Yeah, there we go, guys. Yeah, more S's. There we are. Hey, Brian Rockrail fan. There you are. Yeah, spit on the idea. I spit on you. There you go. Yeah, bad ideas deserve to get. But first this, and then the spit. Okay, there you go. Maximum disrespect for GM's silly pet project that went nowhere. And it will be the same for Waymo, and Google will lose money on it too, because it's silly. It was funny. Anywhere that I went in Los Angeles, when I went to take any sort of pictures or videos of the Waymos going through, anybody on the sidewalk would say, don't take videos of that. Those are terrible. We hate those things. Nobody likes them. They're an eyesore. They're silly. They take away people's jobs. Forget that. It's just a silly idea. The investment that could have been put into Waymo was put into Los Angeles's metro system. Imagine how many more people would be able to get around. And it's still, I would say, relative to the rest of the United States, Los Angeles has a pretty okay metro system. It is pretty nice. I wish it was more connected, especially through the sprawl of the LA metropolitan area. But it's still pretty nice. Okay, they have a good base. But yeah, this is just silly. But anyway, let's talk about automatic trains. Instead of self-driving vehicles, how about self-driving trains? Because again, the train doesn't have to make any turns or anything like that. It's just going back and forth and making sure it doesn't bump into anything and making sure people go in, people go out. Very simple. That's why you've had self-driving trains. I mean, even the Tokyo Metro system said that they can, and essentially can operate the system autonomously. The only reason that they don't is because they always have to have a human element on there driving the train, making sure that it's actually doing things. And that's actually a good thing. It's have the automation in the background, but have a human element that's on top of it to make sure that everything is operating effectively. That, I think, we should bring here into the United States. That sort of concept and train of thought. Pun intended.
Oh, speaking of that, Dimitri, I did put something in the live stream chat that is very interesting and talk about a New York CEO about to lose everything.
Okay, let's see. Oh boy. Um,
Like,
okay, all right. Well, we'll leave that for last. I mean, let's.
yeah.
Yeah. Poor. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about CEOs and the aristocrats of our age, the nobles of our age, the rich, the famous, those that have the power and the money. We'll talk about that later on. But let's talk about this. Automatic train service returns today, well, yesterday, Sunday, December 15th, on one DC Metro rail line, the first time in 15 years. The automatic train operation system will be used on any portion of the 6-line, 120-mile line. So here's the red line over here again, all the way from Glenmont. For anybody who's never taken the DC Metro, I've been on it once, a couple
I've
places.
seen
Pretty all right.
pretty all right, but they could do better.
Yeah, definitely can do better. But Shady Grove all the way to Glenmont, it's the probably one of the more central lines over here, along with the. It's pretty nice. But anyway, the return of ATO disabled after a fatal collision in 2009. Again, this is why you need a human element on there. Although it was eventually determined the system was not at fault. Okay, I don't have that much details into that, but okay, I'll believe it. Was approved last week by the independent Washington Metro Rail Safety Commission. CDC Metro Rail gets approval. Train use wire December 11th, 2024. At the time, the Washington Metropolitan Area Authority indicated return today was likely. That was made official later in the week. So there you go. See, they do have that. That's available. I mean, compared to how many people have been hit and killed by autonomous vehicles, probably a heck of a lot less of a disaster.
Oh yeah, far less of a disaster than anything on the road. You know.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. Next article over here. Amtrak's fastest trains in the U.S. could start carrying passengers in spring. So we talked a little bit about this. The Acela. Oh boy. There we go. It's finally the Avelia Liberty train sets are finally going to be in service. Finally, after years and years of testing, of sorting out all whatever technical or safety regulations or whatever silliness that they had to do. I don't know why it had to take years, but it did. Here it is. Finally ready for prime time. Finally ready to go into passenger revenue service. Here we are. Finally get to ride the $2.4 billion Acela trains capable of hitting 180 miles an hour this spring on the Northeast Corridor. In New Jersey, if they pass final tests. Oh, man. At this point, I think that the trains are going to be public school students at this rate with the amount of testing they're doing. Oh, man. Yeah, it's getting worse. Does the train have to take the FCAT too? For those of you in Florida, you know what the FCAT is, or whatever standardized testing it is, whatever it's called in your state, the CAT, the FCAT, the this, the that, whatever it is. It's ridiculous. But here you go. Yeah. So, manufacturer also on Amtrak have completed qualification testing. Will submit the results to the FRA soon, Abrams said. The next trains will enter pre-revenue testing. Is there a pre-revenue testing? Do they have the late show, the late night show that they have to go on to? Setting the stage for us to serve our customers in spring 2025 when these trains will become the fastest in operation in the United States. Yep, that it will. That it will. Amtrak does like to go ahead and put that they have the only true high-speed rail in the United States for now. For now. I wouldn't say an average speed. Let's say an average speed.
Until 2028.
Yeah. Because there's technically one railroad out there that's averaging a higher speed than Amtrak and even the Acela right now. But let's see where things change in 2028. But still, look, we love Amtrak here. Okay, we wish them the best. We wish them to have success, which they had this year, the best year that they've had on record. Almost. Not. I would say that not as close in 2019 to almost making a profit, but at least the most amount of passengers that they have ever transported. That is really good.
But not forget the most routes open.
Yeah, people want to ride trains. It's as simple as that. Give the people the trains.
Yeah.
Train. Yeah. In January 1 of 28, new Acela trains was videoed speeding through Princeton Junction in Mercer County. That's the section. Yeah, that's the fastest where they go in. A section on the Northeast Corridor dubbed the Raceway. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what I said. Where the trains can hit a top speed of 150 miles an hour. Okay, I mean, I wish they can go 180 miles an hour. I mean, it shouldn't. it shouldn't be that we have a Northeast corridor and rail system that is so far behind. I mean, we're talking about sections of the track that are 100, almost 150 years old. The Baltimore Tunnel being, I mean, it's built after the Civil War, I believe 1867 when it was built. I mean, we're talking about Civil War era technology that is still holding up to this day. It just
I know.
shows, yeah, it just shows you how far ahead the American nation was back then in terms of just getting this done, and the people who built that. I mean, it's incredible. It really is.
But the, they look far more ahead than we are now. Speaks volume.
Yeah, it's definitely a different time, and like I've said before, yes, the rich and the aristocrats back then, they weren't perfect at all. I mean, far from it. But they had a lot more love for this nation and had a lot more to give back in terms of physical, just physical monuments to not just themselves. I mean, you have to have a little bit of megalomania if you even want to put it that way. But at least some sort of philanthropy, real philanthropy, not some sort of fake Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Has anybody else seen any sort of dollar come to their local community from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation? I mean, please, let's not even get into that. Okay, where's the Bill and Melinda Gates tower? Where's the Bill and Melinda Gates park? Okay, where's the Bill and Melinda Gates library or the Bill and Melinda Gates station? Give me a break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, build something that we can actually see, that actually beautifies the area, that's a testament to the greatness of the nation, the greatness of its people, and looking towards something greater than. Okay, there needs to be a greater than back in this country, and God we trust. That's what we need to go to. Okay, there's a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
All right, back to this before I go too off topic. An Amtrak General Inspector's report in September found 2 issues that said were likely to delay 2024 rollout of the new trains. The FRA is closely monitors the progress being made to complete qualification testing and analysis necessary to operate new Acellas on the Northeast Corridor. We are aware that Amtrak plans to officially submit the results to the FRA. Again, they're not saying exactly what it is, but there we go. Okay, so the new 11-car train sets will include 9-passenger cars seating for 380 people, and more legroom than the current trains, and most airlines provide even in first class, which is true. There's more market share for the Acela service between New York and Washington D.C. than there is by flying. It's just what it is. So it's in the perfect spot, and it's by far Amtrak's most profitable line. It just makes sense to have this sort of stuff. Now, when it comes to pricing, that's a whole different story. Because compared to the rest of the world, the Amtrak Acela is way more expensive for what you're getting compared to, let's say, Spain, or even Japan, or Germany. And if we have time, we'll go into that a little bit, because my future mother-in-law did send a article about a couple new routes that are for almost 10 euros that you can get on a high-speed train between Paris and Berlin. I mean, could you imagine if we had something like that over here? Imagine going from New York to, well, frankly, to Washington, D.C. on a high-speed train for $10.
That would bring in a lot more money if they were to price it. Like, let me be on about this. All you need to do, like, for Amtrak went into this, bring your prices down to $10. You will have more people riding than you have ever seen before.
Yeah, and I don't think that's economically feasible for Amtrak right now. It's possible. It's just to right now, for where they have the last financial report, they weren't really that close to breaking even. Not like the last time that they were in 2019. But I'm pretty sure they could be able to tweak stuff. And once if they hit their goal of having, 50 million passengers by 2030, I'm pretty sure you can be able to see some sort of discounts on Amtrak. That would be interesting to see. Because even Brightline, I know people complain about the prices on Brightline, but to get from Miami to Orlando is about half the price than the Acela.
Heck yeah. Like, even though everybody complain about the prices, but here it seems, when when jumping a brand new, the prices are more expensive at the beginning. They always are.
Yeah,
Am I right?
exactly. And again, it's economies of scale that also happens to put a part of it. The reason why train travel is so cheap in Europe is because you have a lot of trains. We talked about this, I believe, a year or 2 years ago, where Spain was offering on the high speed trains in Spain €8 to go from not some one not 50 miles to go from Madrid to Barcelona. Okay, the
Uh-huh.
two of the largest cities in Spain for €8 on a high speed train. That's incredible. We have over here Lex Burren in Europe saying I can go from Amsterdam to Brussels for €30 by train. That's like saying going from Chicago to Indianapolis or Chicago to Milwaukee. That's about the same distance. I mean, the whole misconception, and it's a very bad faith misconception of people saying that high speed rail or any sort of similar train service won't work in the United States because we don't have the first of all that we're too big or we don't have the density. It's so
Right
silly.
there.
It's silly.
Like it's literally a BS lie. Like, let me be honest. The only people who promoted that type of propaganda, and I'm gonna bring it up, was the car companies. The car company and the airlines. Back in the day, promoted that type of propaganda. Like all this stuff that people believe in, and now saying our country is too big for passing around. You can point your finger toward the car company and the airline.
Yeah, it's definitely. I would say. Remember, we still have that video with Ben Baldanza, the former CEO of Spirit Airlines, who was ousted, by the way, because he wasn't even good enough for Spirit Airlines. I mean, that says something about your. Speaking of CEOs, again, we don't hate CEOs at all. I think the thing is, speaking just a little bit of a tangent on CEOs. I think the problem that people have in the United States is that they don't hate CEOs. They hate being stepped on, and they hate bad people, which is why you see a lot of why it's so disturbing to so much people. No, there's only a certain point that you can step on people and expect them. I mean, even speaking of things back then, I mean, there was a lot of anger towards the captains of industry or whatever you want to call them, the robber barons, which I don't think they should be called the robber barons. Back
Yeah,
in the beginning of the end of the 19th and early 20th century, I mean, you had so many strikes, and I mean the Pullman strike. Okay, speaking of trains, the Pullman strike in Chicago, okay, which probably wouldn't have happened if they didn't have a recession in 1893. But I digress. There's a lot to go into there. I mean, you had the Homestead strike, which almost ended in almost an assassination. Well, there was an assassination attempt, but it didn't kill. Was it Henry Clay Frick who was running Carnegie Steel, the factory in Pennsylvania? Which, here's the thing: people don't understand when they saw. What was it? It was the History Channels. They had some sort of dramamentary, The Men Who Built America, and they made the Homestead strike look like it was a bunch of poor union workers, the poor laborers all standing in line, and then the Pinkertons just start open firing on them. No, that wasn't at all what happened. The labor strikers, they basically started a whole entire, almost a whole full battle. They brought a 20-pound brass cannon. Okay, they had a cannon, which, by the way, okay, speaking of Second Amendment, you can have a cannon. And somebody did bring a cannon, and they had Winchester repeating rifles, I mean 1873s, full on lever actions. The Pinkertons got on there. They didn't know what the heck was going on because they had like a whole bunch of people that were new agents, and they had no clue what the hell was going on, why they were being brought there. It was a massacre on both sides. I think like 30 or so people died. So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of violence back then too. People think that, oh, this is violence. Oh, you haven't seen American history. I mean, we've had John D. Rockefeller almost got killed in assassination because the bomb went off earlier before. Teddy Roosevelt, okay, he got shot, and luckily he didn't die because I think he had a book in his glasses case in his chest, and he kept doing the speech. This was in Milwaukee, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I think the hotel or whatever he did in front of is still there.
But Dimitri, fun fact: here in South Carolina, you can own a freaking missile or a rocket. Here in South Carolina.
Hey, shall not be infringed. That's what I that's what I say. Anyway, speaking of yeah, since we're exactly, man, exactly, man. But since we're going back and talking about uh antitrust laws and going back to the turn of the century between the 1800s to the 1900s, look, it's the same thing starting to come up again. Look at the CSX is asking the Supreme Court to review antitrust lawsuit against Norfolk Southern. This is kind of funny to look at.
Oh yeah.
So David, I don't know how familiar you are with this, but go on if you know enough of this. Go ahead and riff on this because this is pretty interesting.
Well, GXX is calling out Norfolk Southern for monopolizing up in the Northeast. Well, they are also monopolizing up in the Northeast. And funny thing is that Norfolk Southern and CXX, they made a deal back a couple of years ago when CXX bought in Pan Am to operate on an NS line going to Massachusetts. And I get Norfolk Southern was not having it. So you can read the rest of the article here.
Yeah, so here we go. Jacksonville, Florida-based CSX sued Atlanta-based Norfolk Southern in October 2018, claiming its competitor conspired with Norfolk and Portsmouth Beltline Railroad Company to set an excessive switch rate on dock access to the Port of Virginia. CSX said the switch rate of $210 per train car cost the company hundreds of millions of dollars since implementation back in 2009. I mean, $210 doesn't seem like a lot, but multiply that out by how many hundreds of cars are coming in every day and out. And yeah, it does end up to hundreds of millions of dollars. That is nuts. But it's just hilarious. The Fourth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Virginia ruled the CSX allegations were untimely because they were not within the 4-year window allowing for filing U.S. antitrust law claims. This is hey, this is hilarious. It is unclear whether the Supreme Court may rule on the review request. CSX remains focused on its effort to gain competitive access at NIT, Norfolk International Terminals, at the Virginia Port Authority's largest marine terminal, so that we can best serve our customers, said CSX spokesperson Sherry Bowman in an emailed statement to FreightWaves. FreightWaves has reached out to Norfolk Southern for comment, and it looks like Norfolk has not commented. So, I mean, especially after what Norfolk did to East Palestine, Ohio. You know what? I'm rooting for CSX. I'm rooting for the Florida company here. Let them. Oh yeah. Let them have it. Keep going. keep going. Let them fight. Let them cook. That's what I say. Let them cook. And CSX, you go, man. I'm in your corner. Here. You want? Have it. There you go. Have the bat.
Here, funny thing, Amtrak new CEO is friendly with Amtrak. Like, that a real kicker. CXX new CEO, he is very friendly with Amtrak with a big bonus.
Yeah.
There.
That should be good. I mean, hopefully that Amtrak is not... That's really the main reason why Amtrak is so late on a lot of, especially the long distance corridors. Because it's a federal law that priority has to be given to passenger rail, but most of the freight railroads, especially the class ones, don't follow that. They tell Amtrak to wait on the side while they go ahead and pull 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 freight trains. I've seen that one time where we're just sitting there for 4 hours on the Silver Meteor, and there's 5 different freight trains that are going through, and we're stuck there for hours until we can finally go forward. Yes, I get it. You own the lines. That's great, but follow the law. That would be nice. There's a reason why they're there, and it's not a bad law. They're silly laws. And granted, at least what it's like, how many different U.S. code, how many pages of U.S. code there are out there? I would guarantee there's at least 80% of them that we can do without. But there's a good number of them that actually make sense, and they're there for a reason to have law and order. We do need that.
Speaking of that, CXX and Norfolk Southern are having a dick measuring contest right now. See who has the most heritage unit.
Oh man, I didn't say it. You said it, man.
I had to bring it up for funniness because CXX and Norfolk Southern are right now neck and neck with both having 21 heritage units each.
Yeah,
they're both having a measuring competition.
Hey, that's fun. I mean, You know what I wish we had was some sort of like grand railroad museum similar to, again, Japan takes everything one step ahead of everything, but that Saitama Railway Museum I still think was the best museum I've ever been to in my entire life. And I've been to so many different museums, but man, that was just wow. That was more like a grand cathedral to the railroad than just a museum. That was just amazing.
Like the only railroad museum I've been to is the North Carolina Transportation Museum up in Spencer. That was the only one I've been up to, and it's great, up there.
Yeah, and I'd say, look, the American Railroad Museums, they do a good job in plenty of them. Gold Coast and the Oklahoma City Railroad Museum, a whole bunch of other ones around dotted around the United States. But I think really the main issue is that they don't have the same amount of funding or the same amount of people. Look, the Gold Coast, I would say definitely is my personal favorite, being my neck of the woods. Fantastic group of people. It's just I wish there was more, a lot more love from the community at large and funding for it. I know we have our own groups of people that love trains, and believe me, that's great. But this country in general needs to have a lot more love for the railroad, especially for what the railroad has done to build this nation up, and still does every day with the freight railroads. As much as we like to hate on the class ones here and there, I mean, they do provide a lot of economic output, and they provide most of the goods in this country, moving them around. That's just reality.
You're going to laugh at it, but they would care more over an airplane or car museum over a train museum. Like, seriously, like, it just so sad to see.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm kind of the same way, but then again, there wasn't any big railroad museum in Los Angeles. I wanted to see the red car. Apparently, it's stuck somewhere in Disneyland. So there's no red car museum in Los Angeles. There's a subway museum in Brooklyn, New York, and that was really cool. They did an excellent job with that, and they still do. And again, the city of New York does spend a lot of money to keep that operating. So again, there is funding. Like, we do have a lot of money around in this country. There's no shortage of cash available, at least when it comes to public funding. The problem is where that funding is allocated to, and where that's going, and what results are coming out of it. But anyway, I digress. Next article here: Union Pacific transfers local service in Eugene, Oregon to Genesee and Wyoming Central Oregon and Pacific Railroad. Did I say that right? Genesee, is that how you say it?
Genesee and Wyoming.
Genesee. There we go. Genesee and Wyoming. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Some good business practices. They're divesting out local services to smaller companies, so it's not as much of a monopoly by a little bit. So there we go. This change allows Union Pacific to reduce the number of times a rail car is handled, create greater efficiencies while providing more flexibility and agility for both railroads, to meet current customer needs and anticipated growth. So yeah, there you go. Short line railroad handling service from Union Pacific. That's pretty good. If we had more, this would be a good thing if we had more of these short line railroads throughout where the class ones, if there was maybe some more divestment into that. And
we used to have, but corrupt companies that wanted to take everything over.
Yeah, I think, let's see. Again, I'm optimistic but cautious for the next administration. I'm very much optimistic for the vibe in this country, for the economy. That is a very good thing. I do think for sure we're going to see a better economy in the next 4 years or so. Give or take that they don't do something in the next 2 months, because, I mean, they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at this rate. Not just in the United States. I mean, of course, you have the drones, whatever sort of violence is going on within the country, whether this is a psyop or not, but you have what's going on in Syria, which that's going to turn into an absolute hellhole. And unfortunately, we're going to probably see a lot of, I hope not, a lot of taxpayer money going to that. And I don't know what else is going on or what's going to be happening between Russia and Ukraine, but again, these are all different things that are happening across the world. If whatever happened in South Korea, the failed Pat Labor 2 live action sequel didn't happen. But
the guy got impeached. He got impeached.
man, South Korea. Oof. Okay, but anyway, yeah. Look, there's just so much going on within the world. So anybody who's saying that nothing is happening, no, there's a lot happening. Okay, the nothing ever happens crowd. There's a lot happening. Please don't be telling me that nothing ever happens. There's a lot happening. Unfortunately, all at once. So I'm just hoping and praying that nothing comes to, pun intended, derail the good times in this country. So we do need a little bit of it. Speaking of who's coming in, Trump is backing the ILA, the International Longshoremen's Association, in port labor standoff. So for those of you who forgot about this, it came off to the side back in October, and it was canceled. The happening was canceled, but now the happening is back because they will start to go ahead and strike come January 20th, 21st, I believe, when they're going to come back onto the picket line. David, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Actually, let me just go here and say this. President-elect Donald Trump on Thursday sided with union longshoremen in their standoff with employers over the deployment of port automation technology. And this is what he said. I kid you not. I studied automation. I know just about everything there is to know about it. Trump wrote, "The amount of money saved is nowhere near the stress, hurt, and harm it causes for American workers. In this case, our longshoremen, aren't they the best? Aren't they the greatest? We love the longshoremen here. We love them. Thank you, everybody. We love them." You can always see him doing that. But yeah, funny enough, he's putting a lot more support, vocal support, than the current president for a union. Which, Biden hadn't really said that much. He said he supports them in a letter and maybe a couple little talks here and there, but that's about it. Trump, again, he's a bit more bombastic. He's a lot more social, a lot more extroverted. He's going to say what he thinks, and there's little to no filter on that. Whether he does what he says is a whole other matter, but we'll get into that later and some other time, and we've talked about that plenty of times. But this is going to be interesting to see, because he definitely does, at least vocally, does have more support for the American worker. And look, that's why he won. Whether you like it or not, the American worker mainly went out to support Trump. Sorry, it's just what it is. I'm not sorry. Let's put it that way. I'm not sorry. I take my sorry back. For people who are taking my sorry, I take that back. No, I'm not sorry. I'm glad he won. There we go. Oh man.
I'm not.
You're saying, man?
I agree with you, because here, funny thing, they're going to ruffle a lot of people's feathers. Biden, and good thing that Kamala did not win, did pardon someone who stole $800 million from cancer patients that she let die.
That's nuts. That's really nuts. Yeah, I saw a lot of those pardons. Just it's really just messed up, honestly. Oh man, but okay, January 15th is when they're going to start again. Okay, A2R Gaming, thank you very much for that. And for everyone in there in the YouTube land, we're liking you guys out there. Thank you so much. Marty Flowers, sorry for the us. I know my fiance is going to come and start hitting me on the us. I always just tend to get that. But anyway, Marty Flowers is asking, stream from what train when? Probably next week. I do want to get on Brightline. I want to have a stream on there. Now, whether or not the chat does get to there or not, I do want to do it. But funny enough, I just wanted to test this out on YouTube. This is a new feature that honestly should have been in there for a long time. This should have been on, years and years ago. Let's be honest. But thank you, YouTube. YouTube finally did a good thing. Okay. And no, not just get rid of Susan, who's probably having pitchforks. Let's get some justice in there. Okay, honestly, nobody likes Susan. Sorry. Okay, she did a bad job. She did a bad job. I'm sorry for her loss. That's all I'll say about that. Okay, Sorry,
She,
but yeah,
she died from cancer. She died from cancer, by the way.
I know, but oh man,
Karma.
I'm already getting the text. I'm going to yes, I'm not going to say anymore. Okay, I'm trying to hold that back. Not that I say us or the worst thing that I had was saying also too as well. That got beat out of me years ago, and I'm glad for that. That was a very bad filler. Yeah, Tomo-kun is putting the S in there. I'm not gonna say that much more. People know what I think about Susan, but let's keep going over here. Let's keep going. All right, where are we at? We're at 9 o'clock over here. Let's just try to finish these up. Port of LA, Long Beach Railroad wins grant for electric locomotives. Speaking of at the ports, that's why we talk about the ports a lot, because whatever comes off those ships, all those containers, they have to go on trains at some point or another.
Okay.
So yes, this again, this is the American Rail Club. We're talking about all sorts of trains, from passenger rail to freight rail and everything in between. All sorts of industry, all sorts of infrastructure. This is what we're all about over here. Funding for Pacific Harbor Line follows year-long testing program. So together with the CARB, which I have a lot to say about the California Air Resources Board, but anyway, has received partial funding for 5 zero-emission locomotives. Funding for the acquisition will be provided through a U.S. Department of Transportation Consolidated Rail Infrastructure and Safety Improvements CREASY program grant. So there we go. That's good. The PHL
They're going to back bad.
They're going
They're
what?
going to back.
They're going to what?
Oh, full battery electric, not going to backfire bad.
It could. It couldn't. It depends on how far they're taking it, because it would be better if they had catenaries, which there's a lot of electric freight railroads, particularly in Europe and in Japan. I believe China has some. I think Russia also has an electric freight railroad, but the problem with battery electric is charging that whole thing up. It could have been a hybrid system. I think that would have been better, but hey, there's something. The PHL locomotives will be manufactured in the United States for Progress Rail, which used to be General Electric, and that was spun off, I believe, back in 2018 when GE sold that.
2017.
Yeah, 2017. Yeah, so there we go. Now, speaking of Trump and investments, we talked about this back in 2017 with SoftBank, which at the time, SoftBank did own Fortress Investments, but it looks like they're going to invest $100 billion in U.S. projects. Mainly those are going to be what they call AI and computer chips. That's what they're going into. Now, just to be clarified, SoftBank does not own Fortress Investments anymore. That was sold to an Emirati company, the Emirates. I forget what the name of it is. It's Muddle Bara, something like that. It's a muddled name. But anyway, they've sold Fortress Investments to there, but Fortress Investments is still going ahead and operating independently from there. Just because you own something through investments doesn't mean you completely control it. You can, but doesn't mean that. But anyway, this is pretty interesting to see. Again, it seems that Trump really likes Masayoshi Son, because he's had him on several times. He likes he still misses Shinzo Abe. There's a lot of reports that he calls his wife, the widow of Shinzo Abe, just to check in on her and make sure that she's doing okay. But yeah, there was a good bromance between Trump and Abe. That was really cool to see. And Abe was really trying to push to have high-speed rail in the United States. We do miss him dearly. That was one guy who did not have to go the way he did. He didn't.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't deserve it. That was definitely a bad thing that happened. Okay, look. We're gonna be fair in this channel. That shouldn't have happened. That was terrible. Of all the guys for that to happen to, of all the world leaders, to Shinzo Abe, come on. Look, he wasn't perfect. Okay, and there probably was some little things here and there, but he did a lot more for that country than a lot of other leaders would. And he was at least an ally to the United States, and he was a friend to Trump. So I will give him that. Okay, he wasn't at all an SOB. Not by far. But going back to Masayoshi Son, here we go. Let me see if I can... Where does it say here? Pledged $50 billion investments in 50,000 jobs. Now, that was something that happened. I I believe SoftBank was going to get I think it was in Wisconsin. There we go. Most famously, Trump in 2017 announced with Foxconn a massive $10 billion electronics factory in Wisconsin that was expected to create 13,000 jobs. The company eventually abandoned most of the plans for the facility and the high-tech products it was set to build. The company in 2021 said it would invest, did I say 2021 said it would invest just $672 million in a revised deal that would create fewer than 1,500 jobs. So that's the thing. Look, it's $100 billion sounds great. Let's just hope. And again, we don't expect it to actually go ahead and be $100 billion of investment in 50,000 jobs. It would be nice, but I don't expect that. Again, optimistic, but cautious. We have to be fair, okay? There's still no wall. Where's the wall? He promised this great, big, beautiful wall. Where is it? Maybe it'll happen this time, maybe not. I don't know, but man, it's just what it is. We're almost there. We're at the end. We're getting closing in here. Boeing announces more deep cuts as layoffs worsen. Oh, Boeing. Poor Boeing.
That's funny because Boeing plant here in Charleston is actually expanded to bring 500 more jobs.
Which is weird. I guess they're reassessing where they're having most of their jobs at. I mean, they are shrinking. They're decreasing their labor force pretty rapidly because they're not doing well at all. People are not. They're canceling orders. They're going to Airbus, or even worse, they're going to the Chinese version, whatever it's called. Basically, they look like copycats of whatever Boeing and Airbus did. But hey, that's what China does. And there's that's the thing. It's like they can get away with all this sort of stuff, and nobody does anything about it. So yeah, you know what? Yeah, if they figure out that they can keep doing that, they're just gonna keep doing that because nobody wants to bring them up to bat. And if that's not gonna keep happening, they're just gonna keep getting away with it. You can't keep getting away with this. Well, they are because nobody's doing anything, and hopefully our country can start to wake up. But anyway, this is on top of 17,000 jobs that they're cutting. Affected locations include Titusville and the Kennedy Space Center, mainly because their space, whatever Boeing's spacecraft project that they were working on was pretty terrible, and it wasn't going anywhere. But yeah, that's where they're going. I mean, they haven't done anything new since the Dreamliner, and that was pretty good. I've been on the Dreamliner, really nice, really quiet. It is a comfortable aircraft, but yeah, Boeing hasn't made anything new in the last 20 years. Meanwhile, we do have a startup company called Boom that's trying to bring back, we talked about this before, supersonic flight back to not just the United States, but the rest of the world. And they've already completed test flights of the system that they're going to use. So this is pretty cool. Again, I do like having all forms of transportation. I think we should have a whole bunch of different forms of transportation. We should have trains, we should have planes, we should have cars, we should have it all. Give people the choice, and I think that's a good thing to have. But yeah, this is going to look really cool. And they already have orders from United Airlines, American Airlines, and Japan Airlines. They've already put in their what is it, pre-orders. There we go. They already put in the pre-orders. I don't know if they're getting DLC with those pre-orders, but let's see.
DLC skin pack.
Yeah, they're getting skin packs. There we go. They're getting cosmetics with that. But yeah, look, with everything that's going on in our country, we've gone into $36 trillion of debt in just the last year. I mean, it's not the last year, but I mean, $2 trillion in 2024 alone is pretty nuts. This is a pretty good graph, depth out the wazoo. Yeah, that makes about sense. I mean, it's just nuts. You see this, of course, this big spike during the Koof era with all the billions of dollars that were going out, and it just hasn't stopped since then. It's just absolutely crazy where we've gone. Look, it's just what it is, and it's not going anywhere, unfortunately. There's no way in heck that this country is going to be able to get rid of the debt in a timely manner. Now, what can happen is that we can start using that money for something to actually build assets, because we are taking out that money in US dollars. China is doing something similar. I mean, they control their own central bank, so they have a lot more wherewithal to do with whatever they want. we don't really have any sort of form of control over our Federal Reserve System. It's not nationalized. It's this pseudo privatized Federal Reserve. But anyway, I'm not going to get too much into that. But look, instead of spending whatever $36 trillion, does anybody else here feel that the country is $36 trillion richer, $36 trillion better after how many trillions of dollars we spent in wars overseas? Probably will likely spend even more. And into what? For what? Oh man, but it's just nuts, because look, we still haven't rebuilt in Appalachia after getting completely battered by Hurricane Helene.
Yeah, it's been 3 months.
Yeah, here we are. Where's the trillions of dollars? We're sending missiles to forget it, greatest ally. What have they provided? I'm not going to even get into it because it just makes me upset. Not upset, beyond livid and enraged. But this is just absolutely nuts that we're spending all this money and we can't even help our own people, who are our own nation, our own people. There's still people there without power. They're still without homes. They're freezing over there. It had to take. There was one group that I follow on Twitter, Pacific Northwest Guerrilla. He went there himself. A guy, look at that, a citizen by himself with a couple of other folks went down there to provide wool blankets to people. And this is what you're seeing. You're seeing people from all over the country coming there to help with their own time, their own volunteerism, their own money to go ahead and help these people. Where is the U.S. government? Where's the $36 trillion in the last several decades? Where's any sort of billions of dollars for these people? Where is it? Where's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, huh? Where are they? Where are they? Come on. This is just it's sickening. It ticks me off. Here we are. Both Orlean.
Downright disrespectful too. Downright disrespectful. Like here at Tain, Norfolk Southern, it's still, and I'm gonna be honest, the old Fort line from Asheville headed down to Charlotte. Or not Charlotte, but what is the other chief that it headed to? They're still rebuilding that line.
It's upsetting. It's really it's sickening, and we have a right to be upset. It's righteous anger. It's not right. It's very wrong what's been going on with it. And I'm not going to stop talking about it for whenever, every other week or every week. I'm just going to keep bringing it up about Hurricane Helene and what's going on over in Appalachia, because those people need help. They do. It's our own people.
Oh yeah, and our own people. I agree. And here's been worrying. And a ton of people that I'm friends with who used to train walk are worried that Norfolk Southern might use it as an excuse to abandon the old Fort line.
Yeah, and that,
like,
I don't put it past them. They're kind of scummy as it is. They absolutely what they did in East Palestine is beyond criminal, and somebody should be in jail for that. That's another thing about these companies. I mentioned it before. And I'm not going to pick on just Norfolk Southern, but let's say, for example, since healthcare is coming up and United Healthcare has been a company, there's something called a 3 strikes rule in a lot of states that if you get convicted of 3 different federal felonies, you go to prison for life. And unfortunately, since the Citizens United case, these corporations have been treated as their own sort of entities, as their own sort of citizenry, that they have First Amendment rights, that they have this and that. And that's been taken to an absolutely insane degree, that companies are basically getting away with felonies and murder. United Healthcare has been convicted of 3 different felonies, federal felonies.
Oh yeah, it took a psychopath to kill, to get. It took a psychopath.
Yeah, look, murder is wrong. That's fine, but here's the thing: United Healthcare is responsible for hundreds of thousands of murder. It's murder is wrong, but profiting from a system that deliberately profits from the slow death and harm to the American citizenry is beyond reprehensible, and definitely a crime that needs to be justified. And look, in another time in the U.S. history, United Healthcare wouldn't exist. They'd be thrown out, and the CEO, whoever it is, because they'll change out CEOs like a hydra, he would have been in jail in a heartbeat. if this was 1924, not 2024, this was 1924, probably would have been in jail. Because it's one thing taking advantage of, and look, workers back then, I mean, like I told you, like they stroke like crazy. I mean, you had the Blair Mountain. I mean, look, they were going to war. It wasn't just, you know, walking in the street with 3D printed Glock. They went to freaking war where the National Guard had to get called in. Okay, but it's just different now. We don't have the same amount of. It's kind of a wake up call. Again, murder is wrong. There's a time when there's, again, Ecclesiastes. There's a time for war. There's a time for peace. There's a time to kill. Okay, Exodus. Our Lord is a man of war. Okay, so there's a time when violence needs to be done. But again, it's just it's weird. Again, I don't think people are talking about that he was that the company was getting. Going to court again. Yeah, they would have been fined, whatever, and their insurance company would have paid for whatever they would have, and they would have paid it off in payments and then gotten off with good behavior, basically, by not paying it off. It's efficient infringement. It's what it is. They know they can get away with it, so they do it anyway because they know that the profit they're going to make in billions is worth the millions of dollars in fines. That's just the problem.
Worse yet, the CEO of the other company who was in prison for life, like one I was telling you about earlier, she was pardoned by Biden, and she stole $8 million from cancer patients that died just because she cut their cancer treatments short.
Yeah, this is not. Again, I am not at all for promoting violence. There's a time you need to go to war, and yet there is just war theory, and going to war is to bring peace. Again, let's pretend that he did do it because there's a lot of weird stuff. I mean, look, for a guy who was so smart, this to me, Luigi, for being so smart, to going to Stanford and UPenn and all that sort of stuff. I mean, why would you still have the Glock 19 that you printed with the slide, with the suppressor, with your manifesto? It's all very weird. Okay, but I'm gonna exit off of that. Let's get off the exit lane of this, David, because this is it's just weird.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Oh man.
But I do got another thing that I sent you in live chat that I think would fit with CEOs up with. It's super funny.
Yeah. I'm gonna put that. We're at the end here. By the way, here's some nightmare fuel for you guys. Imagine if Paris was occupied by the Allies for years and years. This is what it would look like. Oh man. Oh boy. Yeah. Do we really need more? Again, this is what we talked about before. Are we moving people or moving cars? We need to think about this because this is, again, it's hyperbolic. But it really goes to say, is this the right solution? Is it? Think about it. Oh, man. Anyway.
Go to the live stream chat, or not the live stream chat, but the chat in here, because we just sent you something very funny about a CEO losing all his employees.
Yep. All right. That's we're at the end here. By the way, guys, like, subscribe. Well, not you don't like and subscribe on Twitter. Follow me. Follow us on Twitter. I do have my own Twitter account, which I haven't gotten into, but I should get back into my own X. I guess X. We're calling it X now. X account. X marks the spot. I should get back into my own X account, but here we are. Here's the club's X account. Follow us on here. Like our stuff. We're trying to get out there. All right, David. I will bring up I'll bring it up. Here we go. Let's see. Did you put it in near the end, or where is it?
I did now put it in again on the ACR live stream chat.
Okay. Here we are. The New York CEO who had his Lamborghini pooped in by his employees after he canceled their Christmas bonuses. Come on, man. Has he ever watched a Christmas Vacation? That is pretty low. Has just learned that they have all resigned. Good. I mean,
good.
Look, you're lucky they just resigned, buddy. You're lucky that's all you get. Literally every employee from the sales staff to the shipping department emailed in their resignation. They should have sent it via Slack to their CEO at the same time. Good. Give him something to actually read in his inbox. What a piece of garbage. Look, again, it's not hate to CEOs. It's hate for being stepped on, for being taken advantage of. This is what people are angry about. Okay? People are not angry at the Costco CEO. Why? Because he runs a good business. Because the hot dogs and soda combo is still $150. People don't hate the Arizona CEO because you can still get, and I love Arizona iced tea. That's like one of my favorites since I was a kid. You can still get it for 99 cents at some gas stations. Now, there are some that don't do that, and you can go ahead and tell the company that, hey, they're not putting their 99-cent teas on here. Now, of course, there are some places where it's like 149 or something like that. And yeah, that's just what it is. But the ones that say 99 cents on it, I mean, in 2024, okay, people like good leaders. So there's a concept called noblesse oblige. And I've been talking about, good CEOs and the duties that somebody who has money and who has power has to the rest of the country and to the people. Okay? Noblesse oblige means that the nobles have obligation to go ahead and protect the people. Okay, if you're king of a castle, and I know people in the United States love to hate on monarchy, but that system has worked for thousands of years. Democracy, even the Greeks didn't really like democracy, and this country is technically supposed to be a constitutional republic. We're not operating as one right now, but anyway, let me finish this point. If you're a king of a castle, okay, and of a town, you have an obligation and a duty to go ahead and defend and protect those people, whether they get attacked or whether they raise war. You have a duty. If you're collecting taxes or whatever it is, you're there to protect those people. Okay, that's just what you're supposed to be doing. And a lot of the people back then, like the Carnegies or like Flagler, they built something to leave a lasting legacy and to give back to the people. I would say probably one of the craziest stories, and I'll just end with this, and then we'll go into the chat here, because I know you guys want to get in here. Let's see. I know I've talked about Griffith Observatory a lot, but this is kind of crazy, this story. So the guy who made no, it's not Griffith on Berserk, but the guy who funded the Griffith Park and the Griffith Observatory was kind of a nutcase. Okay, like again, these people were not perfect at all. Okay, this guy would not be posting wife jack. He shot his wife. Okay, the guy was kind of nuts. He was kind of crazy. Look, known for philanthropy, assault with a deadly weapon. Okay, Griffith J. Griffith, what a name to have. Okay, it's not Brogan Bam Brogan. Okay, this guy makes Brogan Bam Brogan look like a little wuss. Okay, this is again the difference in the CEOs today and back then. Okay, compared it to Brogan Bam Brogan, who starts going around with an axe and letting off steam on his walls. Yes, a lot less violent than shooting your wife, which is pretty reprehensible. Okay, very reprehensible. Okay, definitely not condoning that at all. Okay, but I mean, look at this. After amassing a significant fortune from mining syndicate in the 1880s, Griffith donated 3,015 acres to the city of Los Angeles that became Griffith Park, and he bequeathed that money to build the park's Greek theater, which, if you guys have seen it, is pretty cool, and the Griffith Observatory, which I love. I mean, if this is a fantastic place. If you guys are in the Los Angeles area or you live there, I mean, everybody knows the Griffith Observatory. Griffith's legacy was marred by his notorious shooting of his wife in 1903, a crime which he served 1 year and 9 months in prison. It's pretty nuts. I mean, look at this Wikipedia article. It goes from life, crime, later life. I mean, this is just nuts. But look at this. While vacationing Santa Monica, Griffith shot his wife, Tina Messimer Griffith, in the presidential suite of the Arcadia Hotel as she knelt on the floor performing. This is pretty nuts. This is what are those true crime episodes here? The shot didn't kill her, but left her disfigured, and she lost her right eye. Oh man, she ended up like a venom snake there. Griffith was charged with assault and a deadly weapon with intent to commit murder. And look at this. It's instructing he was a teetotaler, or supposedly somebody who's not supposed to be drinking alcohol, was in fact a secret drunk who was subject to paranoid delusions. Okay, so again, yeah, these guys were hyperbolic, but I mean, with the stuff that they left this country is just incredible. Okay, let me see. Awarded custody of 16-year-old son. The court also stated that Griffith would pay for his son's education at Stanford University. The decree was made in a record time of 4.5 minutes. Justice was served pretty quickly back then. Okay, that's another difference. Okay, swift and timely justice is not a thing in this country anymore. Okay, which is why people kind of lash out. It's not good. You need to have justice in this country. But I mean, if you guys haven't seen the Griffith Observatory, this thing is absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. You've seen it in every movie that's in Los Angeles or anywhere. If you guys remember, Transformers probably like the biggest one that we all remember, where they start landing in. It's just an absolutely beautiful thing. Look at this rotunda. Look at this. Okay, absolutely stunning, beautiful. We don't make beautiful things in this country anymore. We need to do that again. Okay, this is the type of stuff that the rich should be leaving for the nation of this country. Okay, and this guy left it here.
All bad justice.
Yeah. Speaking of, it's a Christmas present. Griffith called it a Christmas present after accepting the donation. The city passed an ordinance and named the property Griffith Park in honor of the donation. Okay. And he wanted for people to be able to see, not that his wife is seeing the universe with half her vision, but the rest of Los Angeles and anybody who visits can be able to see the universe with, I mean, it's kind of it's pretty bad, but I mean, come on. I mean, that's just Americans back then were something else, man. I mean, we need a man. Okay, not bring back shooting your wife, absolutely not. But let's bring back building beautiful stuff again. Can we do that again?
Not Brightline, but Dimitri, my company Walmart, to put themselves on the radar. Their CEO just effed up.
Okay, but anyway, all right. Okay, so I'm being told by the American Rail Club legal department. We have kind of a legal department here. Okay, they're working pro bono, but I have to disclaimer that the bat, okay, we don't condone violence on this channel. The bat is meant, disclaimer, it is meant as a humorous prop. This is humor. It is funny. It's under the First Amendment. We mean no harm to anybody, okay? Please, all right? I got that out of the way. Thank you to the ARC legal department for going ahead and doing this. Yes, we do have a legal department, guys. Look at how many people are in the audience here. All right, so you guys know the drill. 5 minutes each. If you have your hand up, you'll be in. We'll go ahead and go on to the next person. But anyway, here we go. All these wonderful people here in the club. I love doing these things. These are funny.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, man.
Can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, let me just start the time so I don't go over as well. Yep.
You're good, man,
Oh, there's one thing three things I'd like to say. To David's point earlier, you mentioned the California high-speed rail, and a lot of it was corruption.
Yeah.
Don't throw it all into corruption when part of it was definitely grift.
Oh man, it's true. It's just, I mean, it's just terrible. Like I've talked about many times. And again, speaking of California, okay, we talked about. I mean, look, let's see, Griffith Observatory. They built this within. Let's see, construction started in 1933, inaugurated May 14th, 1935. 2 years, less than 2 years, a year and 9 months from construction to inauguration to build something that is still beautiful and still standing there. I mean, that's and they can't build a freaking high-speed rail system. It's just no. It's not that they can't. It's that they won't. Let's start saying that they won't build it because they can. It could have been built already. They won't. Let's take it a step further.
Well, the money, it's there, but you have to have that political will, and there's a lot of people that can grift off of it, and other people that want to have their grease palms. And oh no, I can't approve of it because I won't be in office by the time that it is time to cut the ribbon, so I can't approve of it. Sorry, and we're gonna have to wait until my predecessor starts construction, probably around the time I'm dead, before we can start. And by then, the system could have been paid off in full.
Yeah.
And making plenty of money. The second thing, when you were talking about the railroad besides the highway, you can go look on the Department of Transportation's website right now. Just choose your state, their Department of Transportation website, and you can go down into the numbers, and they all have very similar numbers. For a highway meeting the U.S. standards, it can move 1,800 vehicles per lane of highway per hour. If you want to be the cars advocates most favorable answer, that's 1.5 people per vehicle.
Exactly, because that's the issue.
If you want to go to the transit side, it's probably closer to 1.1, but let's go to 1.5. That's 2,700 people per lane per hour. When you compare that to the trains, you're talking about needing anywhere from 8 to 12 lanes of traffic for every track you're laying down. So if you wanted 2 lanes of track so you can go both ways, that's anywhere from a 16 to 24 lane highway per direction, just per highway. And that's just to maintain the same amount of people per hour. You want to double the amount of people on those highways, you're going to have to double the amount of people in the cars. You want to double the amount of people on the trains, you connect 2 trains together.
Yeah.
3 trains together. It's not that difficult.
Look, and that's the thing. That's why you have 3,500 people stuck on a subway in New York City, is because it can handle that amount of people per hour. And I mean, you talk about other places around Europe. I mean, all those trains can easily carry 1,000 people each. The Shinkansen in Japan can carry 1,200 people more. I mean, this is just you cannot beat the train in terms of capacity. There's no way.
And that only assumes that you're counting the amount of seats being taken up, and that's not including standing room only or having wheelchair users sit in sections by themselves. It's like you can easily more than double it.
Yeah.
But that last thing I want to say before I run out of time, it can easily be addressed in the amount of time we have before fully automated cars come into being. Because they're like, if you talk to people working on it, you're still talking 15, 20 years out.
Yeah.
Which, if you get rid of the overregulation, the unnecessarily large bureaucracy, and all the other issues at hand, you can build it out in 10, 15 years.
Oh, yeah. Unsolicited financial advice for Google. Maybe instead of Waymo, maybe you should finance and privatize. Maybe buy off the California High-Speed Rail Authority and build it yourself. You'll be making more money.
And for the regional rails, the rails already exist. What are you going to do? Spend the money to bring the rails up to modern standards, double track it if it's not already, or even more so you don't have to share the rails with the freight lines so they're not slowing you down. And then it's like, do you want to spend the $3 to $5 million based on Brightline's number to electrify it? $3 to $5 million per mile. So yes, it's expensive, but the system pays itself off in a matter of months.
Yeah. I mean, there's just so many. There's just so much more we can be doing in this country. It's just nuts.
Yeah, the whole regional rail system can be rebuilt in less than 5 years if we wanted. But yeah, I'm out of time, so I'll just have to go in the comment section from now.
No worries, man. Appreciate you always for coming on here. Always do.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Alrighty. I just, speaking of making this country great again, I just noticed that my favorite eggnog, Evan Williams eggnog, has yellow number 5 in it. I feel like RFK is gonna come behind me and hit me with a baseball bat. It's just bad. Why does it even have it in there? I mean, the color it's not even yellow. Why is it even in there? It should be fine. It's eggnog. It does. Oh man, contains milk and egg. Yeah, it should. Why do you need artificial coloring? Oh man, there's a lot we need to get done in this country. It really is. Alrighty.
Agreed.
Dump trucker, you're on, man.
What's up, fellas?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. There's a few things I want to get to.
Floor's yours.
Did you hear about what happened on the Long Island Railroad?
I think I did. What was it?
A drunk driver got on the train tracks.
Oh, that
Yeah,
that.
I saw that
I
on
wanna
X.
know.
Yeah, it was just so much news, man. It's like, okay, wait, what happened on the Long Island Railroad this time? Okay, guys, I'm being serious. I did see that. Yeah, that's not. Let me see if I can find that. I know I had it saved somewhere. Oh man,
What are they getting drunk on over there?
I don't know, man, but yeah, that's just nuts. Let me see, drunk driver. There we go. Come on.
I think they're drunk over their sports teams not being too well.
Yeah, it sucks to be a New York City fan of any sort. I mean, forget it sucks being a Giants fan. I've been a Giants fan for years. It's like, at this point, you just expect disappointment. You're never disappointed. But hey, at least the Buffalo Bills are doing well. But it's not really New York City, but it's still a New York State thing. So we'll take that. Come on, we'll take it. But anyway, here we are. LIRR drunk driver here. It's the LIRR. Somebody needs to know that's what it's called. The LIRR. But look at this. Oh man. Here we are. Accused drunk driver caught on camera barreling down LIRR tracks. This is just... Oh, man. Okay, you guys ever seen... what's the movie? Groundhog Day. Okay, I better not be hearing crickets in the comments. You guys have seen Groundhog Day.
I don't know if I've seen Groundhog Day.
Oh, man, you guys have to see Groundhog Day. But yeah, look, this is just...
Noted, I'll watch Groundhog Day.
You gotta watch Groundhog Day on February 2nd. You watch Groundhog Day on Groundhog Day. But yeah, look at this. One way to beat traffic, an alleged drunk driver was arrested Monday for driving his SUV on the LIRR tracks in a caught-on-camera joyride that ended when the vehicle burst into flames. Yeah, it's gonna do that with the amount of friction and oil coming out because you hit the undercarriage of the car. But oh man, what a nutter!
Yeah.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
Oh, it looked nuts on the video I saw, and I was like,
Hidalgo 40. Oh boy, is this this is not a illegal migrant, is it? Basilio Hidalgo of Brooklyn ended at the Belrose station, a distance that spans at least half a mile of track. Well, he didn't get too far. Has been charged with first-degree reckless endangerment, third-degree criminal trespassing, and driving while intoxicated. Yeah, but in jail, no keys. Bye-bye. Never drive again. There you go. He wants to drive again. Take his hands and the baseball bat. Again, disclaimer: it's a joke. It's a joke. Come on.
If he wants to drive again, he needs to retake his test.
No, I don't think you should drive again. It's as simple as that. No, you've proven yourself out.
You don't need it in New York City anyway.
Yeah, there you go.
Got everything. You've got everything.
You can take the LIRR now. You can take the train. You can take the train. There you go.
Oh wait, I think you got You think if he got trespassed, you probably got trespassed on the LIRR.
I hope he has legs and a bike, because that's what he's going around. He's gonna have the bike now.
He'll be a skinny man at the end of the day.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, boost up your legs right there. But there you go. Man, what a crazy stuff that's happening, man. New York never fails to entertain.
Yeah, and hey, you know what? You can jump to the next one. ARC, don't feel bad about yourself living in Miami. You're not a Philadelphia fan.
I can't stand a Philly, man. I cannot.
At least you aren't in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's always a plus. At least I'm not living in Philly.
Philadelphia is the true shit show.
Okay, for those of you guys who do live in Philadelphia, we're sorry. Okay, we are, but I hate the Eagles. I'm sorry, I hate them. I'm not sorry. I hate the Eagles.
They have a very rude fan base.
They are.
And just because you lost the Super Bowl does not mean you need to go protest it.
I mean, they beat Santa Claus up. They tear down their city. I mean, look, your team is winning. You're fine. You're going to the playoffs. Just chill. Brotherly love, really? City of brotherly love? Come on, give me a break.
You ain't no city of brotherly love.
I mean, to the point that their best citizen is a fictional boxer. I mean, let's be honest. That says a lot about Philadelphia.
That is like so true.
This is the Philadelphia Slander Club now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. All right, Dump Trucker. Any last words before... I'm keeping on the 5 minutes here. I'm keeping on it.
What? So electric trains, they're great. As much as we might hate Elon Musk about everything, there's some great things he's gonna do, but
Oh, yeah.
who knows?
Let's see. Let's see what Doge does. That'll be interesting. I
Yeah.
don't think he will get too
hmm
far. Again, optimistic but cautious. When it comes to Doge, I think they're going to hit a lot more roadblocks than they really think they're going to hit. It's a nice idea. It's a nice sentiment, and I think there's a lot of ideas can be pushed out there. But let's see. Let's when the rubber hits the road, let's see what it does. But anyway, dump
Yeah.
trucker, thank you,
Yep.
and keep on trucking, man.
Oh, one last note. California High Speed Rail, the money isn't there.
Yeah.
You had the money isn't there anymore. To the guy that said the money's there, no, it's not. The money got thrown out the window and burned in the trash can.
Man, it just sucks. I mean, they could have at least built something with the years and money that they did have. It's an absolute darn shame, and it's. And look, we support California having high speed rail. We're just apprehensive at the very least about California High Speed Rail Authority. But anyway, thank you, Dump Trucker, for coming on.
Yep. You have a good night.
You too, man. Alrighty, keep on keeping on. Star Force 97, you're on, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, buddy, I heard all that slander.
Oh man, hey, we're not slandering Chicago as much as we can go into Chicago, man. We're keeping it nice for you guys.
Yeah, we are. Anyway, speaking of New York, I just got more news feed that New York isn't catching a break. They just had a water main break in the Bronx, and it's causing major flooding now.
Like I said, New York doesn't fail to entertain, man. Oh man, look, it's like we said again, our infrastructure needs a little bit of help. I mean, I don't think anybody else needs any more missile systems or anything else for quite a while until we get our own stuff together. How about that?
Exactly.
Okay, maybe you guys can buy your own missile system. Sorry, we're not funding it anymore. Sorry, figure it out. Bye bye.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's honestly interesting, like, to see, like, you know how I've been, like, you know how because I think also, like, I also found out, like, in terms of for commuter rail, I've also heard that the Boston commuter rail is actually starting to increase their service frequency, and making, obviously their trains become shorter, but they're increasing service frequency, which is a good thing, because, and it reminds me of when the Chicago L actually had four smaller trains, but with more. But the last time they had smaller trains, I think this was on the brown and orange lines, um, and the purple line too. They had they had like 4 car train sets mixed in with 8 car train sets, and nowadays, since the pandemic, it's all 8 car train sets. And it also goes to show, like you do have some, like one of the things that's been plaguing the CTA as of late is still the lack of operators and lack of rail service in general. Like, they only started, like, not too long ago, hiring and training more operators just to try to get back to pre-pandemic levels. But it's been a long road ahead for the CTA, and I honestly feel like just one of the things that stuck in my mind, what stuck in my mind was just the the, the 4 car versus and 8 car train sets. Just, I never, at first I didn't understand why, but then I kind of started to realize, oh, this is because of service cuts. They're just lengthening the trains just so they're pulling more stuff around, but because of the smaller. But I feel like the bigger issue is still going to be the service frequency, because I feel like obviously capacity is going to be worse when you have less service frequency than when you have more. And I also just found out like this was kind of in my area. I live in Evanston, where the Purple Line mainly runs through, and just recently um, they started cutting down the trains from all 6 cars to some 4 cars mixed in, which I feel like gives me at least a little hope that there is a little bit of increased service frequency.
Just needs a CTA needs a lot of help, and I wasn't too thrilled when I saw their new budgeting standards that they have out. I mean, it's the same as usual, and that's usually the problem with a lot of these transit agencies is that it's business as usual and not anything that's really pushing the bar upward and forward. That's the major issue. I understand that there's a lot of regulation in the way that's keeping any sort of big momentous changes to come into the forefront, but there needs to be some greater amount of leadership. I mean, even when you do have leadership, like the MTA in New York had the former CEO of the Hong Kong MTR. What was it? Andy Byford, I believe that was his name. But
Amtrak.
Yeah.
No, that's Amtrak.
oh, Amtrak. I'm sorry. Oh, who was the Andy Byford is Amtrak? Okay, I forgot who was the name of the guy at MTA. But yeah, he wanted to bring a whole bunch of ideas, but he was just stymied every single time by the amount of regulation within the United States. I mean, we're comparing to Hong Kong, which I mean, now Hong Kong is owned by basically the Chinese government of mainland China. But I mean, still the MTR runs, I believe, the Purple Line in London. And that's incredible what they've done there compared to the rest of the two. I mean, it's way far and beyond in terms of technology and just yeah, I mean, it's this type of stuff. Look, you can't have a privatized service, and when they had somebody like that with the amount of leadership acumen to be able to bring the, I mean, the amount of experience that guy had to be able to bring to the MTA, he made some steps forward in modernizing it. But I mean, he could have gone a heck of a lot more. Again, we have to get rid of a lot of these regulations that are holding back and shackling a lot of what could be massive infrastructure improvement.
Yeah,
But this definitely into what we need to do.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I also feel like obviously another problem with that is just basically, I mean, as I think you've said before, not just with transit agencies, but it's not just about, or at least someone on here said, it's not about necessarily about like the funding, like, oh yeah, with California high speed rail, it's again, it's the corruption and the lack of willingness to actually fix problems, that I feel like is more so holding back these agencies. Like obviously, like you can build like with how much like these agents, well, I don't know how much these transit agencies typically get, but like with the money that's being spent on transportation, a lot of these like can easily fund transit projects, and which makes me happy that the biggest, I feel like the biggest, one of the biggest accomplishments, probably the biggest accomplishment that the Biden administration managed to achieve was passing a bipartisan infrastructure law, which greatly like improved like a lot of like, well, mainly like getting new vehicles, but also more infrastructure for better infrastructure for all of the for a lot of the transit around here, as well as not too long ago in the election, there was a huge there was a key there was a key transit bill that actually passed in Nashville.
Yeah. I mean, okay, we have to give credit where credit is due. The Biden administration will take the money for sure. Again, appreciate you, Star Force, for coming on. We're out of time. We got to keep moving on. But again, always appreciate you coming on.
Yep, thank you.
Not a problem. Okay. ACB, get him on board. He's got the avatar of the best girl on. Sorry, anybody who's fans of Ray, nah, go away.
Yes. Ava fans in the building.
There we go. What's up, man?
I gotta agree with you. Like, it's not so much funding as an issue. Okay, well, it's part of it, but it's mismanagement and the execution. Like, there is graft, and there's, of course, dealing in the background, which doesn't really benefit projects like California HSR. So much promise, but pissed down the drain. And the thing with New York City with that substation exploding because of water, it shows that our infrastructure needs a lot of upkeep and modernization and just straight up replacement at this point. And I wonder how that substation is. Because I'm very familiar with that area. I used to live in New York City myself, but I moved to Jersey back in 2019. But that's a whole different story for another time. There's that, and also, yes, okay, Brandon, thank you for the money because we did need new vehicles for our transit and rail systems, but just not it didn't go far enough, or at least the huge amounts of money we sent overseas we could have spent it here
Yeah.
instead of laundering it.
And to Star Force's point that he mentioned, again, we do have an idea of not for every single agency, but they do get a significant amount of money. The problem is they get nowhere near the amount of money that the other forms of transportation get, like roadways and airlines. They get it's close to about a 95% ratio. I mean, it's got a little better, a tiny bit better, but there's no way. Yeah, there needs to be a rebalance of the ratio of the amount of money that's given, because what have we spent? I think one year we spent about 150 or 250 billion dollars, an insane amount of money on roadways in just 1 year alone, and that's not including. I don't remember the exact figures. I know I talked about it in one of my videos, but an insane amount of figure. We're talking about in the hundreds of $billions, and that's just in federal money alone. We're not talking about how much
all
the
you're
states
doing
have to be dragged along.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And all you're doing in certain areas is increasing induced demand.
Yeah, you're increasing induced demand. You're
One more
it's a
lane, bro.
band-aid on top of a broken system. It's a broken system. Sorry, you can't expect a roadway to induce mass transportation. It doesn't work. I mean, I see here in Indianapolis, they've built they ended up building these roundabouts. I mean, Fishers, Indiana, northeastern Indianapolis, the suburban area, and Carmel, which is a pretty nice place. They have gone head over heels of building roundabouts all over the place, to the point that there's the most amount of roundabouts anywhere in the country. And roundabouts are great.
I mean,
the problem is when you get past a certain amount of vehicles going on those roundabouts, it becomes total chaos and nobody can move. And that's the problem. They're just building something because it looks nice. And I get it. I love roundabouts. I love it when it gets wet that I can go ahead and do donuts the whole entire way around. That's perfectly fun and all. But the problem,
so fun.
Yeah, turn off traction control, put on the power, lay it down, and there you go. But the problem is, it's not fun when you're backed up about a mile in because you're waiting for everybody else to take the turn, and everybody's kind of a little bit, when it comes to roundabouts, they all get confused and don't know how to drive. It's not a thing here that's common in the United States. So when people get to encounter the roundabout, it becomes a nightmare for everybody else around them. They're a liability for everybody that's driving in there. And that's the problem when it comes to that.
There's a couple of them here in New Jersey, but they're not very common like in Indianapolis.
Too.
Oh, yeah. Look, it works. When it works, the problem is that there are certain places, not everything is going to be a one-size-fits-all. And roundabouts are great for lower capacity roads. They do not work for major intersections. That's the problem.
For thoroughfares, no, it doesn't.
Exactly.
And the same thing with our rail infrastructure too. Like the Northeast Corridor itself, if we're talking about the backlog in terms of repairs and upkeep, about 90 or so $billion. I forgot the exact figure, but I know it's in the tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that the government took money from the railroad and gave it to their competition, the car and the highways, for tax-free. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, back in the 50s and 60s.
Let's not forget how many railroads had to go. I just rewatched with my fiance. We rewatched that video of what from class to crap what happened to America's passenger railroads, and that was probably one of my better videos, and it definitely needs a re-up or something that can bring that back up again. But it's true, the amount of it was just astonishing how much money, and we're talking about back in the billions of dollars, not adjusted for inflation, but back then billions of dollars spent for roadways and airlines. It's you're picking on the winners and losers in a so-called free economy. How is that supposed to be a free economy when you're going ahead and you've already picked the winner?
That's
I
a
know.
duopoly.
Yeah,
That's not a free market.
it's all rigged. The game was rigged from the start. I mean, it's just nuts. But anyway, man.
Yeah.
ACB, thank you for coming on board, man. Appreciate you. We
No
appreciate all the
problem.
Osaka fans out there. So there you go, man. Take care. Oh boy.
You too.
Take care, man.
Dimitri, in the new year, you need to do an update on that video in the new year.
Definitely.
That for sure.
That's on the list for sure. We need to get that done. But yeah, there's just a lot that we're gonna get done. We're gonna push forward into it. I will say that we have an interview with a pretty high profile person somewhere in a passenger rail line company in place, in a privatized passenger rail company at that. I'm just leaving you the hint. So, the video's gonna get done in January. It's gonna be pretty good. I'm just letting you guys know for now. So, we're moving stuff forward, moving the plane forward. We're going to start making the big videos, and we're going to be making American Rail Club great again. So that's on there. Alrighty.
Oh, yeah.
Darius is on. He has priority because he is a co-conductor. So we'll bring him on. 5 minutes. Let's keep it to 5 minutes, and then we'll go to Brightline Fan and Adam everywhere, and then we'll call it a night.
Oh yeah.
This has been a
That for
long
sure.
one, guys, and wow, we're still pretty good there on YouTube. Wow. You guys are sticking along. Thank you for everybody in YouTube land out there for keeping on here. But anyway, all right, Darius, going once, going twice, 3, 4, 5. Okay, man. Sorry.
I'm here. I'm here.
Just you got lucky, man. You got lucky. All righty, what's up?
And
We're gonna be streaming when I get over there, man. We're definitely gonna be doing at least
what about
at least 2 streams. I want 2 streams. We can do that, right?
Yep.
what about Arc de
for
Triomphe?
For dumb
Have you-
words from the
The Arc de
Arc de
Triomphe in
Triomphe,
France, yeah. But that's the thing. If you go to Europe, and Lex Burns says there's plenty of roundabouts here. Yeah, it's a very big thing in Europe. But I mean, we're talking about a big roundabout. The problem is that American drivers, if you put them in the Arc de Triomphe, you can hear from anybody who's been there. They say it's complete chaos. Everybody going in and around. It's like if you ever seen the French film Taxi. Everybody's driving like that guy out of the film Taxi, which is one of the best car chase films of all time. But the thing is that the European driver is a completely different animal to the American driver. Okay, I mean, look, if American drive, it feels like NASCAR through the Arc de Triomphe, it'd probably be with less accidents than your average American driver. But we're not talking about that, okay? And it's the entry. The level to entry to drive a car in Europe is the bar is way higher than it is in the United States, and for a reason. There's a reason why there are more manual transmissions sold in Europe than there are in the United States, and it's still, I think it's 46% of all cars. Or the last I read, and that was maybe from a couple years ago. They're all sold in Europe. They were all manual transmission cars. It's a whole different animal. And the reason why that works is because it's been there for what? Talking about close to 2 centuries or more, having that roundabout there, so they're used to it.
Automatic transmissions actually, don't they seem to simplify the process of getting all that shifting out of your head and just focusing on the driving?
The problem is that it takes away one hand, and I do believe this is true. It takes away less effort from operating an automobile, and it lowers the bar to entry where you have people who don't know how to shift and don't know how to do a lot of stuff. They'll be using that free hand to be on their phone or to be on something else. And I agree. I think there should be a level of degree that people should understand how a vehicle operates. I remember reading one time. What was that book? Remember we were reading about like
I
what was it?
I can't dream of using a manual transmission, at least for now.
I know, but I'm talking about like I think it was in China where they had and I don't know how true this was, but I read it in a book somewhere. That China, they
But
have a
I
test.
know for sure with automatic transmission, you always
I know,
have
man.
two hands on the wheel,
Let me finish this thought.
which is big for safety.
Let me finish this thought. I don't know again how true this was, but in China they had to go ahead, take apart a car, and put a car back together in order to get a driver's license in China. Again, I don't know how true that is, but in other places they have very strict way. It's different in the United States because the whole economy and way to move around is all based on the automobile. So they basically give licenses out here like candy, and they let people drive that don't even have licenses. I mean, what's the ratio of people in South Florida that don't have a license or insurance? I think it's half of the driving population in Miami doesn't have insurance, and 30% are driving without a license. It's pretty insane. And I heard that from a judge.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I
If
heard
we start
a judge that used to shadow
start
at the
towing
South
away
State
their
Justice Center.
cars.
North State Justice Center. Sorry, but anyway, yeah, you were saying, man.
Start towing away their cars. That's what happened in California
Yeah, here comes the
and
repo
New
man.
Zealand, and it kept the accident rate low.
Yeah, there needs to be again. One thing is having laws. The problem is we have a lot of laws and there's little enforcement on the laws that actually matter, which is why a lot of bad people are getting away with a lot of bad things. It's quite bad. It's quite sad. Quite bad. Quite sad. Anyway, man.
But no doubt in a rural area, you cannot actually build extra rail, although how slim it might be, except when passing along. It might, if a service station there for a high-speed rail in rural towns or hick towns might obviously
Come on, don't call them
be
hicks.
disturbing for land use.
Okay, yeah. Nobody's
Not
talking
to
about
mention environmental impact.
Again,
So
nobody's
that's why buses and cars would always be supreme in these remote areas.
Yeah, look, there's
Preserve wildlife.
again, not everything is a nail and not everything deserves a hammer. Okay, cars work where they work, trains work where they work, and buses work where they work, airlines work where they work. Okay, there's absolutely a reason and a place to have everything that works. Nobody is saying to go ahead and build a New York subway system in the middle of South Dakota. That's crazy. Nobody's talking about that. But we're talking about at least having some passenger service for some of the bigger towns and areas, at least to pass by at least once or twice a day. That's at least fair. But anyway, man, if anything,
Bus companies actually need to diversify besides just Greyhound.
Well, but Greyhound is going. There's other bus companies that have come up in the last several years. But anyway, any news on the drones? Last thing, any news on the drones in New Jersey? Because I know we were talking about it last night.
No, but I've actually took my drone out.
Oh, you have a drone?
You gave me that drone for free keys about a couple of years back.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think I remember giving you that. Yeah,
but it's a Federalite drone
that
you gave me. Basic Federalite drone.
Heartless fiend with the timeless meme. With a car, you can go anywhere you want.
Where you want.
Anywhere you want, man. But anyway, all right.
And man. You can actually literally do that. Speaking of drones, you can actually literally do that on an eVTOL vehicle, which is literally a manned quadricopter drone.
Yeah, I think that's gonna fall. We're talking about more or less a helicopter, basically at that rate. I think that's gonna be. They've been talking about flying cars and vertical takeoff and landing vehicles for such a long time, and they've made prototypes here and there. It's not going to catch on the way people think it is. Sorry, it's just what it is. It's not going to.
But it seems to be cheaper to produce than a standard helicopter, or even a Mosquito helicopter.
Yeah, I mean it'll be something like, remember the movie Elysium with that Bugatti spaceship car, whatever the guy was using that got blown off. That was I mean that's what it's going to be. It's just going to be something for the very ultra rich to be able to use. It's not going to be something that's going to be I don't think so. I know there's like what, a couple like Saudi or Dubai companies that are, you know, busting a whole bunch of billions of dollars into EV tolls for the last several years. But I mean, those people can throw billions of dollars away into something like what was the city that they were building with all the electric little pod cars? What was it called in Dubai?
Oh, I forgot what that
The line.
that Carlos city.
Yeah, it was like some carless city, and now they have the shard or whatever that's going off, like this 30-mile box or rectangular city. Just weird projects, man.
I thought that would be still thriving a bit.
I mean, I haven't seen anything, but
Carlos City.
anyway, man. All right, Darius, appreciate you coming on. See you next week, man.
All right, are you going to be broadcasting here next week?
Oh yeah,
Podcasting.
we'll be broadcasting live from Miami. We will.
All right.
We will be coming back.
Looking forward with you
Absolutely,
in warm
man.
weather there.
Absolutely. All right.
Warmer weather here.
Take care, man. Stay safe.
Same to you.
All righty. Okay. Last two. Brightline fan, Adam Everywhere, and then we're going to call it a night. All righty. Appreciate everybody who's staying on the YouTube again. You guys are heroes. All righty. Brightline fan, what's up, man?
What's up? Yeah, everything's going fine over here in my end. How about you?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Oh, brother, I was really expected to say about something about California high-speed rail. Listen,
How much more have we said on it?
they had the funding and they blew it. Okay, they just blew it. I'm really disappointed.
I mean,
bro,
hey, look.
bro.
Just because California High-Speed Rail Authority is not happening doesn't mean that California won't have high-speed rail, because luckily a Floridian company is coming to the rescue. You're welcome. We're welcome. We'll bring some bottled waters for you guys as well. Okay, we'll make sure that you don't thirst out and die of thirst. Okay, don't worry.
Well, I think. At least we won't. At least we will have high-speed rail.
Yeah.
Right? Either way.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah, I guess this California high-speed rail talk is basically vaporware at this point. Well, it's not vaporware technically,
No.
not like the Hyperloop.
I mean, they have concrete. They have viaducts.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, high-speed rail concrete.
Yeah, high-speed concrete. Yeah.
David Mitchell went off.
Yeah, we'll bring him on. We need to have a whole live stream just dedicated to California high-speed rail.
Crashed again.
Oh, what's
mate.
up, David? That's my old friend David Mitchell here.
There we go. Yeah,
See,
Microsoft got you again.
Not so train related, but it's me. It's Belle.
Hey, Val, how you doing?
I have a song for you. Okay.
Oh boy, here we go. Alrighty, ready.
Train, old Christmas train, you're beautiful. The numbers are in fact they're threatened that this train is for keeps. This sausage train is for keeps, just like this Christmas train. Oh, Christmas train, oh, Christmas train. We'll keep the Christmas train running here.
There you go, Val. David, your wife's got some pipes on her, man.
Oh, Val used to sing opera back in the Philippines. No
really?
joke.
Wow.
I like Christmas train.
No joke. She used to sing opera back in the Philippines, and she posted that up on her YouTube channel.
All right, we'll have to post that up on here so everybody to see. That's great, man. Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay. Brightline fan, you will get some time back. Don't worry. Okay.
Okay.
Val, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
All right. Yeah. What's going on with the state government of California is so disappointing. It's really disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing from our side here. It's not that of course we want California to have high-speed rail. It makes perfect sense to have it there. It's just terrible what the authority has done in the last since its inception. I mean, this is something that should have been already done before the turn of the decade. This should have been done
Oh yeah,
and ready to go. Speaking of
And let's
democracy,
not-
that's what voters
go.
voted for. They voted for it to be done between Los Angeles and San Francisco before, what was it? I gotta look up the actual proposition over here so I get the actual numbers right.
Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. All those counties that this massive concrete runs into voted red. They all voted red.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. So, 2008 statewide ballot. Let me see if I can. Oh, come on. Here we go. Proposition 1A specified several corridors. Here we go. Let me just put it over here so we can all look at this. Over here. There we go. All righty. This was backed by when Governor Jerry Brown was in his first term back in the 70s. High-speed rail was first proposed in 1979. In 82, Brown signed a bill authorizing $1.25 billion in bonds. Fast forward to 2008, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger championed a ballot measure, Proposition 1A, authorized again. There you go, Republican governor. Even though he's not really, he's kind of more of a rhino. But anyway, Proposition 1A, which authorized. That's what happens. It's too much steroids in the brain. It messes you up. Sorry, Arnold. We love you, but you're not all there, man. Sorry. Which authorized $9 billion in bonds. This is the best thing he did to begin the planning and construction for high-speed rail with the further $950 billion to upgrade commuter rail systems. All right. So, including Prop 1A, the project has received about $23 billion through the end of 2023. So you've already had $23 billion, and this is what you have. This is it.
Yeah.
The concrete viaduct.
All those, all those taxpayer money wasted over a viaduct.
And it's not fair for the Californians that voted for this. Okay, they specified several corridors, and they wanted not for Newsom to go ahead and say, well, we're just going to leave it in the Central Valley and then we'll figure it out there. No, they wanted it all the way from San Diego all the way to San Francisco. That's what the voters voted for. So, hey, democracy, right? Do what the voters asked for.
Here's the thing about democracy. Here's the thing about democracy. Okay, here's the thing about democracy. What the media says about democracy, they don't really meant democracy. It's democracy in their way, not democracy in our way.
It's just here's what's funny now on the Wikipedia page. It can't get away from it now. So they have the initial operating segment, phase 1, phase 2, and they have Brightline West. That's just there in bright yellow, just Las Vegas all the way to Rancho Cucamonga. That is hilarious. So it is. Oh man, in their own Wikipedia article, it's come on, you guys. It's time to fix. I mean, forget figuring yourself out. I mean, you've had years to figure yourself out. You've had $23 billion, and we're not getting anywhere. It's time to. Somebody else has to pick up the torch for California high-speed rail. It shouldn't stop. I don't think it should stop. This is absolutely needed in California. But either
I agree.
Completely change up the entire company. Maybe keep a couple of people who are actually good and who actually do believe and want this project to be done, or move them to another company or authority or something else. But this needs to be folded and sent off to either a private company or something else. It needs to go. Or somebody needs to be put in charge immediately and get this done within a timely manner. It needs to have a set date. Let's forget 2028, because at this way, let's say 2030 between San Francisco to Los Angeles. You got it done. You got 5 years. Do it. Get it done. You had 4 years. They were able to build in more than 100 years ago the LA Aqueduct. You can build high-speed rail in 5. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah.
You could actually
build a rail. Yeah, you could actually build a rail project in 2. Listen, Southern Migo had it figured all out. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look at what China did. I mean, please. Speaking of justice, I mean, the guy who was I was just talking about this today, with Catherine and her mom. The guy who was in charge of the Chinese railway system, the one that had the high-speed rail accident, he was convicted and sentenced to death for the accident and for embezzling money. Could you imagine this in the United States, having something like that? I mean, for all that we hate on China and communism sucks, but I mean, wow. Okay, that's some justice there. I mean, how many 147 people or something like that died during that accident? Yeah, somebody should go to jail or get the X. So I mean, yeah, man.
I agree.
Okay.
And here, I'm gonna bring that up. Like, if we have laws like that against big corporation here in the U.S., a lot of them will straighten up real fast.
Yeah, there needs to be justice. There needs to be something.
Okay, about Trump. Oh, jeez.
Go ahead, Brightline fan. Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, I hate to talk about politics right now and partisan politics and partisan bickering. Can we just stop, Democrats? Can we just stop? I'm tired of this crap. Okay.
Stop what? I mean, there's a lot of things that they need to stop, but it's not.
Yeah, they're not going to attend Trump's inauguration address.
Okay.
Trump's inauguration.
All right, free tickets for any other Trump fans that want to go over there. There you go. Okay. All right, problem solved. I mean, look, hey, if they want to keep doing, just well, I mean, funding is one thing. I mean, it's getting it done. Hey, Democrats, you're in charge of California. Where's our train? Why is it taking a red state, a company from a red state, to go ahead and build it in your state? What's going on there? Okay, come on. Please.
Yeah. There's only one Democrat that is going to attend the Trump inauguration, and it's Senator Fetterman from Pennsylvania.
Oh, the Eagles. Speaking of Fetterman, oh man, he's just. I don't know what to think of the guy sometimes. Speaking of somebody that has a. I mean, it's just sometimes you just gotta love the guy, and it's like he's hilarious. Oh man. Yeah. But anyway, alrighty, Brightline fan, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
All right,
hey,
a pleasure.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Take care, man.
About to come in.
Okay, guys, it's been a night. We have our last one here. Here we go. Adam everywhere. Let's bring him on board.
Adam, you there? Ah, there you are.
Can anyone hear me?
You're a little too low, man. Can you up the gain on your mic?
Is that better? Can you hear me or no?
A little better, but it needs more.
Yeah, I don't want it too loud. Basically, it's late for me, so I gotta keep it a little low.
Okay, understandable. Go ahead, man. We're listening.
So, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm doing good. I mean, we're having a good time here. Everybody's here. It's the Christmas season. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's a holiday season. It's getting busy around this hour. It's getting busy even towards New Year's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what the traffic is gonna be like, but after this season, it's gonna be pretty hard. Just get tickets. Just go anywhere on Amtrak.
Yeah, I know Amtrak usually runs some sort of promotions during the.
I'm pretty sure you can get deals anywhere, but
yeah.
All right. You gotta book it way in advance.
Yeah, and it's kind of let's go ahead and let's go on the Amtrak website. Let's see what they're doing on right now. There we go. Instead of talking about it, let's actually do it. Okay, where are we going, guys?
Oh yeah.
There we go. Alrighty. Hey, students save 15% if you still have your EDU addresses. FIU just killed it for alumni, so I don't have my EDU address anymore. But there you go, students 17 to 24. Never mind. Sorry, it's ageist on Amtrak. Save 15% on top destinations across America. Okay, well there you go. All right, Discover America, travel in a private room. Let's go. Since we were talking about it, let's talk about. Let's see, New York. I know we did this before. To DC.
And did that today. I did that last month.
And let's go. Let's get in time for Christmas. Let's be home for Christmas. There we go. Oh, actually, let me put Washington D.C. to New York. There we go. There you go. We're going to New York. I don't want to stay in D.C. I don't want to be in D.C. for Christmas. Let's go to New York. There you go. All righty. There you go. The Acela departs at 5 a.m. 2 hours and 48 minutes. 7:48 a.m. There we go. Business from 83. First class for 3 or 4. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. You know what's crazy is that the regional For another extra hour, you can pay another $100 to go on business class on the Northeast Regional, to leave 5 minutes earlier and to arrive there almost 30 minutes later. It's quite a deal, guys. Quite a deal. There you go. There you are. Acela, 6 o'clock. See, this is the thing. Look at how it's every hour on the hour. The turnover rate right over here. 5 a. Sorry, not turnover. Man, I forgot the term. Shoot, it's late. It's late, guys. There we go. 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Headroom. There we go. Headroom. Hour headrooms. There you go. That's what you have to have. Look, 7 a.m. There you go. 9:30 a.m. And you have look at how many trains are leaving out of DC station. So look, we still have a fair amount of trains still coming out of the Northeast corridor. So it's still there. It hasn't really left the Northeast corridor, no matter what's happened. Look, it can be a heck of a lot better. I mean, Acela could get from DC to this could be cut to maybe 90 minutes. That can happen. Okay, let's be fair. Maybe
90 minutes from New York to Washington DC to 90 minutes.
Let's say an hour and 45 minutes. Let's be fair. We can cut an hour out of that if we were actually able to upgrade the system. But yeah, there you go. Okay, but again, prices. I don't know why the Vermonter costs $298. I mean, just wait. An hour and a half, or get there a little bit earlier, and there you go, business class. There you go. So these are pretty fair prices. There you go. So you can be home for Christmas. There we go. Okay. So there we go, guys. Okay, the prices are actually pretty good for the Acela.
For the holiday season, it's not really that bad. Just the Acela is gonna be expensive.
Yeah. Right now we're finding the Acela is actually cheaper than the Northeast Regionals.
Say what?
Yeah, for a good price. Let's see. For 10:30 a.m., you can go on business class on the Acela for $83. Or 5 minutes later, you can go to Northeast Regional and pay $220. Coach is $138. So it's a little weird. Why? What is this, Amtrak? What's going on here? That's a little weird.
I guess it depends what train it is.
1 minute.
But alrighty, man. Okay. Anything else you wanted to talk about, or?
No, moving nothing much. The picture log. They are still working on the Porter Bridge across the Hackensack River, but it's still a work in progress.
I'm sorry, what?
The Porter Bridge across the Hackensack River between New York and New York City. That's still going on.
Yeah.
They haven't finished it yet. But it's gonna be awesome when it does finish.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we'll start to see those times start to decrease after that. I mean, that's a good. We can probably save a good 4 minutes off of that. That's an estimate, but yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure once all the upgrades that they've been trying to do for the Hudson Portal are complete, I'm pretty sure we'll be cutting a good 15 to 30 minutes off of that time for sure.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty, Adam everywhere. Thank you for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Have a good night, Alan.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Good night. God bless. Alrighty. Okay, guys, we are at the end here. We've reached the end of our journey here. So we thank you all for writing on this episode here, this live stream of the ARC stream on the American Rail Club. David, you want to put in the last words?
Please like and subscribe. I hope everybody have a Merry Christmas, and we have arrived at the station.
Yep, there you are. And thank you for everybody out on YouTube land over there in the comments. We love you guys here too.
And
yeah,
peace out.
Do watch Groundhog Day when it comes in. But first the Christmas movies first, and then we can Groundhog Day on February 2nd. But anyway, guys, we will see you all very soon. Thank you for writing. Godspeed and good night. Take care.
Bye-bye, guys. Have a nice night.